I just get really excited. So sometimes I think the best way or to sell people on something is like, I'm just like so excited about it. I'm like, we have to use this. I've been like dying to use this stone, or like, please, I'm like, it's going to be so like amazing. And then they kind of get on board because it's like my sheer excitement and like the confidence in it, like the confidence to push the limits. And usually it ends up being like their favorite thing. The thing that you push them on is the thing that they're most proud of.
On Creative Assembly's The Spark podcast, our mission is to amplify Nashville's diverse creative voices, foster growth through shared journeys, and inspire a city that thrives on collaboration. And now, here's The Spark.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Spark. I'm your host, Mark Scrivener, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. Katie Stix is the design director and partner at Anderson Design Studio. Katie, it's awesome to have you on the show today. I've been really excited about this episode.
Thank you for having me. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Hey, you Anderson Design Studios, I guess it's worth mentioning that you designed some of the coolest spaces in Nashville.
I designed this podcast studio.
You did, yes. And it is very, very swank. We get so many compliments on it from everybody that comes in for our podcast. So
anything for you, Mark.
Well, hey, as we get started, maybe before we get into Anderson Design Studio, what got you to Nashville, all that, maybe just take the audience through your journey that got you into design.
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to be an interior designer ever since I was little. And I don't even think I knew what it was, but I always knew I wanted to be an interior designer. I would do kind of the classic rearrange your room, the doll houses. I would make water beds for my stuffed animals. So I always pursued it. I went to school, design school, and moved to Nashville in 2010, which wasn't the best time to get a job, but I worked part-time at a bar. I did freelance design work for several years. I worked for a woman for a few years, and then I had an opportunity to come to go work for Kathy Anderson, who, has had this reputable firm for years and years in Nashville, an incredibly talented designer. But I worked for her for free to start. I was her intern because I just wanted to get my foot in the door and prove to her that I could, be an asset to her team. And then, 12 years later, now I'm buying the company from her. And so she can kind of step away and we can keep her legacy going. So it was worth it, I guess, just to work for her, starting out, for free. So it was kind of it was a meandering path, but it led me to where I needed to be.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And we'll dig into the you buying the firm from Kathy, and she's definitely got a great reputation in this town, been around a long time and built something really extraordinary. So I can't wait to dig into that. But before we get there, maybe, as I was doing a little bit of research on you, I think I came across that your parents both are highly, highly creative too.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe how did that influence like you growing up? I know you were into it, but how did they help shape you?
Yeah, well, my mom is an artist. She's incredibly talented, and I saw her try and navigate how to be an artist, but how to have a career out of it, how to, make money doing it. And so I think I saw that early on, and I thought, okay, interior design is very functional art, and it's a good career. It's very like I can do art, but I can also do, productive, functional, help people. But she absolutely helped me to just think creatively and exercise that part of my brain. We would always be doing crafts and art and, looking at art and seeing, finding, she would she would show us like an abstract piece of art and be like, what do you see? What do you see in it? And we'd be like, oh, a butterfly, or oh, this or that. And it was a good way, I think, to kind of train your brain to visualize things, and which is so helpful in what I do now in schematic design and problem solving. So that was huge. And my dad is interesting. He was a cameraman for CBS News for like 40 years. Wow. And I didn't realize that, like I never really realized it growing up, but looking back, it was so creative, and he's so talented, his eye for film and photography. So, and then I think I learned a lot of hard work and passion, from him. He loved what he did. So yeah, it's cool.
40 years, that's definitely a very hard job.
Yeah. Yeah, but he loved it, and he was really good at it.
Yeah. Well, so you're from the Northeast, but you moved to Nashville in 2010. Great time. What was the like deciding moment to why'd you pick Nashville?
Yeah. Well, I lived outside of DC my whole life, so I think I was looking for something new, something a little more affordable at the time. My brother was here. He's a musician. And so it made it a little more approachable to move somewhere where I had family. I knew a couple other friends that lived here too. And I just loved how artsy Nashville is. And that it was obviously booming, like the construction was just taken off like crazy in 2010. So I thought it would be smart to be a part of that, part of that ride. Yeah.
And I guess now that you've been here for a while, and we've had a ton of guests on here in the past that we always talk about Nashville. And I guess like, since you've been here, how have you seen it like really influence like your career path?
Oh yeah. I mean, immensely. What's
the special sauce that Nashville has that maybe you didn't get in DC?
It has a more creative energy, and it has a small town energy that people are so friendly. Not that people aren't friendly up north, but not as, in your face friendly. So I think it's a small town feel, and you meet a lot of people, and then you see them out, and it's easy to make connections. So I just loved how easy it was to make kind of an impact on the city and the people that you met.
Yeah.
In your projects that you're working on.
Yeah, it is an easy town to get plugged into if you ask for help, and a lot of people have said that, and you asked to be involved. So it's great that you experienced that. I guess today, if somebody asks you about Anderson Design Studio, like how do you describe what all you do?
Well, we are very passionate. We're art-centric interior designers. We do hospitality and we do residential and some commercial. So we kind of do a little bit of everything, and we feel like it makes us better at both. We kind of pride ourselves on thinking outside the box, being more eclectic, collected. Each project is totally different. We don't have just one set style. So we like to have fun with design and make a unique product.
Well, you, I know you talked about hospitality, and you've done some really cool like projects around town. Is there any that maybe you want to just call out a couple that, hey, I was involved in this, and it's one of the maybe prouder moments that you've had?
Yeah, well, in town, let's see, we did Old Red, which was a cool project for Blake Shelton, a bar downtown. We did Black Rabbit, which was like a Prohibition era bar and restaurant. That was really fun. I worked in bars and restaurants growing up, so it's always fun to be on the other side of it, designing it instead of working in it. We have done it's not in Nashville, it's in Asheville, North Carolina, a boutique hotel called Zelda Dearest.
Oh, wow.
And that was such a challenging project, which made it extra fun. It's like 3 separate houses, and 2 of them are like Victorian style. So we had to make it into a boutique hotel. So it was very challenging, but so rewarding in the end. It was a really beautiful project.
Well, that's interesting because, we're in an old historic church.
Yeah.
And I guess you designed out that in some old historic homes.
Yes.
I guess, how do you approach the balance between like historic spaces and like you're also known for some super modern designs too? How do you balance that?
That's a great question. That it's tricky to balance it, but it's so important. I think you have to honor the building, the history, the architecture, the era that it was built in, the people that were here before. I think it's really important to honor the space. But you can put modern pieces of furniture in. You can use modern, lighting, AV. There's ways that you can bring it up to date where it is going to last you another, 10, 20, 30 years into the future. So I think there's modern technologies that we try to incorporate, but, detailing and trim and things like that can keep it grounded in its history.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little surprised that you didn't say that the studio at Snapshot is one of the coolest spaces you've ever designed, because it is really, really cool. But is there anything, like, I know, we've looked at the past of some things you've done and been involved in, but, and I don't know if you can mention stuff you're working on, but, just like things that maybe you're the most proud of that you're gonna finish up soon.
Well, we're working on, this is fun, we're working on RCA Studio right now.
Oh, wow.
We did an initial renovation in 2016, and that was cool because it's a historic building. They wanted to tear it down, but we had to kind of preserve it. We wanted to preserve it like in the 60s, when it was built. So it was cool back then to select things like terrazzo flooring and like old mid-century modern pieces. And we found some cool like antiques. So we were trying to preserve, that history. Now we're working on it again to try to get there's a little lounge area and listening room. So again, we're trying to keep the 60s alive and well. So it's kind of fun to work on projects 10 years later and just keep kind of adding on. So we're working on that one right now, which is fun.
It says a lot about the quality of work that you're doing, and that, your clients come back to you time and time again to refresh or redo other parts of the space. Yeah,
it's the greatest honor. And you make friends with your clients too, and which is such a cool experience as well.
Yeah, I bet.
Amazing people.
So, let's just say you're walking into a space for the very first time that you're getting ready to design. Maybe it's a shell, maybe it's an old historic building. And, most people can envision what you can envision in how it could turn out. What are you typically looking for when you walk into these spaces?
Well, I think the first thing is just the vibe. Like, what is the energy that the space is giving off? What is the vibe? What is the potential? But yeah, I think as I get older and like deeper in the trade, it's easier to kind of instantly visualize what it could be. And sometimes, like, it's good and bad, because sometimes it takes away the fun when it actually comes to life, because you're like, well, I've already had it visualized in my head of what it was going to be. So it's not as like this big grand reveal. But yeah, I think I look for vibe and potential and kind of what things are cool that you could kind of save, and what things are like, get this out of here.
Yeah. Breathing the energy back into it. Like, how do you do that? Like, I'm sure that there's a lot of clients that you have that maybe they want to play it safe and you want to like push the envelope a lot of times. And I'm sure once they see what that looks like, they probably gravitate towards that versus just playing it safe in a space. How do you see that play out in, with current clients?
Yeah. Well, I think me a little bit, well enough that like I just get really excited. So sometimes I think the best way or to sell people on something is like I'm just like so excited about it. I'm like, we have to use this. I've been like dying to use this stone, or like, please, I'm like, it's going to be so amazing. And then they kind of get on board because it's like my sheer excitement and like the confidence in it, like the confidence to push the limits. And usually it ends up being like their favorite thing. The thing that you push them on is the thing that they're most proud of.
That's interesting that you say that. Even in our world of the agency space, I mean, the more passionate you are, the more excited you are about a project, the more excited the client is and how it's just so much easier to sell your ideas to a client versus just, there's a lack of excitement there. You just are mundane with the way you present.
Yeah. And like the thing is like what we're doing is so fun. Like what this industry is so much fun. And I think it's easy to lose sight of that because it can be stressful and there's always problems. There's always going to be problems, but like, it's so fun and it's so exciting and it's such an opportunity that it's like, I think it's important to keep that at the forefront. Like, how can we make this be a good time?
Yeah. That's interesting. You say, it's so much fun. I love what I do, but it is really hard. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong in a project. It's like, in our world, it would be almost like, we're designing a website. There's, 5,000 things that could go wrong in that website. And I'm sure it's very similar to yours with every little detail that you bring into it. So speaking of that, though, like, what's a small design detail that maybe you've been very obsessive about that ended up making a big difference in a design project that maybe the client didn't even see?
Yeah. Lighting is huge. There's details in every part of design, but lighting I think is a huge one because there's so many different factors, location, temperature, dimmability, compatibility with the dimmer system. Like there's so many things, and it's also changing so fast with LED and other, technologies in lighting. So, automation and things like that. So that's one thing that we get a little crazy about. Like everything has to be dimmable.
Really?
Yes.
But lighting makes a big difference in it.
Yeah. Because you can have a beautiful space, but if it's not well lit, then you don't appreciate it as much.
Yeah. How many of your projects do you go into with like sustainability and long-term like thinking, showing up in your designs?
I think sustainability is huge. And I think the way that, our team addresses sustainability is kind of selecting finishes and items that are going to last, quality finishes that are going to be easy to clean and durable and are going to last you 10, 15, 20 years. Because if you, in a design that's timeless too, because then you don't have to tear it out in, a couple years when the trend is over. It'll last forever and ever. Maybe not forever and ever, but a long time. So we definitely try to put timeless, classic design at the forefront of our decisions. We just had a project that we're redoing, but they had a carpet that was 20 years old. And you're really supposed to change out carpet every 7 to 10, but it still looked good. I mean, it needs to come up and it needs to be replaced, but it's pretty rewarding when you go back and you're like, oh man, that still lasted and looked pretty good after 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes
Wow.
a difference.
And you all put it in?
Yes. Kathy put it in.
Yeah.
Kathy put it in. I'll credit, her for that. But it's like, it's really cool to go back and be like proud of something that, the firm designed 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, now, with that, we're going to start to dig in a little bit to now you started as an intern, unpaid.
Mm-hmm.
You worked with Kathy. You got your shot. You came in. You've worked over the years. You proved yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You and a couple other business partners that you have now.
Yeah.
But I guess, now you're having to use left brain, right brain, because I got a business to run.
Yeah.
And I still have to be highly, highly creative for the clients that you serve.
Mm-hmm.
What's been like the biggest shift for you, like personally, as you've moved into like this leadership role of, now you're the owner?
Yeah. Well, I think just becoming the leader has been hard. I think I've always just been a doer. I've been very creative, focused, project focused. So now I have to step back and guide, the other members of the team and their projects and kind of let it go and let them take it and run. So it's more high level. But I've actually really enjoyed it. I don't think leadership comes naturally to me, but I've enjoyed learning about it, talking about it, exercising it, practicing it. So it's been fun. It's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I think Kathy saw something in you before even you ended up acquiring the firm. But, I know you were a partner, had a small stake before you actually took on the full ownership stake with your partners.
Yes.
Do you maybe talk about how did you decide that the three of you were going to do it versus just one of you?
Yeah.
And how did you guys come together to make that decision?
Well, I think, Kathy was a sole owner for such a long time, over 30 years, and it's hard. It's hard to do it by yourself. And, my two partners and I, we've worked together for over 10 years and we get along really well. And we all have different strengths that complement each other. So I think it was an easy decision. This makes a lot of sense for us to be partners and not one person has to bear the weight alone. And it's worked out phenomenal so far.
Yeah.
We still love each other and get along really well. And it's so incredible because I know it's hard having business partners too, but I've been really lucky. So it was easy. It was an easy decision to make.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've talked a little bit about, having to step back and help coach and teach people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know creatives in the agency space, I'm sure in your world too, they're very passionate about their, what they're getting ready to design. It's their baby.
Yes.
And so how do you balance giving people criticism, but at the same time, not stifling or silencing their creative voices?
Well, I think we're unique in our firm because we do allow a lot of creative freedom with our designers. But we do kind of set parameters for them to stay within. And of course, the client sets parameters and gives direction. So a lot of times I try to just, suggest or remind them, well, the client mentioned this, so let's stay away from that or gear more towards this. Or what about, what about this idea? Or what about this vendor? Maybe look there. So I try to just lead them in a different direction instead of just saying no, that's not great. Start over. And it's interesting because I'm a mom as well, and it kind of has parallels in, raising children a little too. And okay, I'm going to guide them and I'm going to make sure they're on the right path. But ultimately you're not doing them a favor by just telling them exactly what to do or doing it for them. You have to kind of help them figure it out for themselves.
Yeah. That's interesting how you take it to your parenting. And so that's That's great. What is it like, speaking of like leadership, and I know you were a leader before even you acquired the firm, in the firm, but what's a lesson you've learned the hard way with leadership?
Yes. I think my biggest kind of mantra in the past few years of stepping into a more leadership role is like staying calm. I think before I'd be more inclined to, oh goodness, this is happening. Like I would get stressed out. But like now, if you're a leader, you can't do that because other people are looking to you for the answer or to be grounded. So I've really practiced being calm and steady and sturdy and, assertive, but like kind in the best way I can be, but calmness and patience and okay, let's figure this out together. So.
Yeah, your projects, they go on for, some of them can go on for quite a while.
Yes.
I guess, how do you like keep the creative energy up and how do you like protect the culture like through all of these like long, projects that I'm sure are very complex and, sometimes could probably be pretty draining for the team.
Yeah, it can be. It's something we're trying to figure out too, how to keep the creative juices going. But we encourage our team to go out to eat, go out to do new restaurants, go to showrooms or show houses or events. We do like vision boards, like we did vision boards at the beginning of the year for 2026. And it was personal and career. What are they focusing on? What gives them energy? What, lights their fire? So we do try to let them take ownership and in the design so they don't feel stifled. So we're always trying to figure out new ways to keep everybody happy.
That's a great exercise too. And, I've heard of companies doing that and we should probably do that. However, I guess, is there something like maybe that you learn from that about somebody on your team that you go, God, I'm glad we did this. I would have never known that.
The biggest thing I learned, and it was pretty much every single person on the team, was they have goals and they love having goals and they love having something to work for. And I thought that was so cool to see that they are so driven and hardworking and they like want something. They want to get better in their life, in their career and design. And I just I admire that about them. So that was cool.
Do you make them write the goals down? I guess it's going to be on their vision board, right? Do you keep it in front of them?
Yeah, I think everybody put them at their desks.
Did they?
Yeah. And some people, it was cool too. Like some people did a collage. Some people did a list.
Okay.
Some people did, put little tactile things on there. So everybody interpreted the assignment differently. So it was also like a cool expression, like artistic expression. So it was fun.
How do you see, just kind of looking forward, how do you see the role of interior design like evolving over the next few years?
It's an interesting question, because AI is kind of coming to the forefront. And I think that AI will change how, the role of an interior designer, but I still feel like it's so important to have a human behind it. With using AI as a tool, I think it's an incredibly amazing tool to use. But I think, another thing we've also seen are people that want to do it themselves, like want to do design themselves. But I think it's important to have somebody that's a professional that's trained to, they can still be involved in the decision making because that's the fun part, but having somebody guiding the decisions and guiding the process and leading the problem solving that's inevitable. So I feel like it's almost more important than ever to have a designer.
Yeah. How, that's interesting that you guys are digging into AI and, you know, I know it's, you know, affecting our industry too, and we're trying to stay ahead of it. What do you guys, how do you use it today in your guys' you know, workflows?
We use it a lot for renderings, like to produce images of what the space might look like, or, you know, I might take a picture of what the space looks like now and say, hey, plop this in there, change this color. So it's helpful to do a quick like rendering of what it might look like. And then of course it's, you know, answering questions. Oh, you know what I used it for was I was looking for a specific color, green, and I put the green, I was like trying to color match. A client had sent me, it was like a candle or it was some sort of object. And she was like, this is the green I want. And I put that picture in ChatGPT and I was like, can you send me all the Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, and Farrow and Ball paint colors that are the closest match? And it did. And I was like, this is amazing, actually. I'll take it.
Saved you a bunch of time,
I know.
not having to research
I know. I didn't have to like take everything out.
The swatches.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You ever need a paint color?
There you go. What excites you the most about Anderson Design Studio and where you're taking it?
Yeah. I think I'm excited to do, you know, get more into hospitality work. We've been doing hotels recently and I love working on hotels. So I think I'm excited about getting more into that world. I'm excited to do more new construction homes. You know, we do a lot of renovations, which are fun too, but the whole house from the ground up is especially fun. And we can kind of, you know, we don't have to work within the parameters of what the house is. We can kind of dream up what we want it to look like. So I'm excited for more of those projects. And I'm just excited to see where our team is headed because we've got a really solid team and excited to see everybody kind of grow.
Yeah. Well, you do have some sharp people on your team. So
thank you.
What's inspiring you today in creative? Like what's, you know, filling your bucket up, energizing you? Like, how do you stay on that cutting edge?
I think traveling is always, you know, really inspiring. Fashion is always a big inspiration. I think there's a lot of ties between fashion and interior design. So it's cool to kind of be in both worlds and have it kind of play off of each other. I think, you know, my daughter is inspiring to me. She kind of helps me get down on that level of a kid and just see things through like such a joyful eye and enjoy like the little things. And she's also really funny because she'll be like, Mommy, what is that? And she'll like look up at the ceiling, point at like a mechanical unit, or she'll be like, what is under the asphalt? Like I know the road, but what is under the road? And so it's like cool to see how her brain works. And it's like, well, I've never really thought about that. I never really noticed those things when I was little. So she's a big inspiration for me too.
Does she get into design and stuff?
Yeah.
Just is she looking at stuff, asking questions? I know you grew up with, you know, creative parents.
She's so creative.
Really?
She wants to be an artist, but she's also very organized too. So I love that creative, but also organized brain. But yeah, I'm interested to see what she becomes.
Yeah. Well, she's got a long time.
I know. I know.
So let's just say I'm taking on a new project and, you know, maybe I think I can just go to chat and have it design it out, but I really can't. Like, what are the things maybe you consult? Like if we didn't know each other and you said, hey, Mark, here's the 3 things you need to like know about when you're selecting a designer that they're going to bring to the project that you're not going to get. Because every time I think I can design and I go buy a piece of furniture, I'm never happy with it.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy with like the way this studio looks. So what are the things that people ought to be thinking about when they're hiring a designer?
Well, I think it's got to be somebody that you get along with, that you trust, that you just, like you said, sometimes it can take a couple years. So someone that you just want to be in the long haul with. I think, we're a licensed team. We all have our NCIDQ certification. So, we've done the schooling, we've done the testing, we know the codes, we know, like we've kind of done our due diligence to be the best in the field and be accredited. So I think that's important. Not that you have to be a good designer, but I do think it's a plus. And I think having experience is good too. Like you mentioned the furniture, some of it is just, we've been ordering furniture for a long time, and we go to showrooms and we go to High Point and we go to BDNY and we go to these trade shows to sit on the furniture and make sure it's comfortable. And, everything we're ordering, we've made sure, it has the upgraded cushion. So I think it's the experience of having done it before. Because anybody can go out and buy furniture, but somebody that's going to really be looking out for longevity and durability and comfort. So it lasts, for a while.
So make sure you get along with them because you're going to be in it for the long haul, right? Then make sure they're accredited in that they have all the certifications that it's going to take to get you through the project. And then the experience that, that they've done it. They've been there, done it before. They've seen all the things that can go right and wrong in a project.
Yep, because that's how you learn, right? In any tradesperson.
Yeah.
You just learn by doing.
And, we've talked a lot on this show in the past with agency owners about collaboration. And, I know you talked about, custom homes from the ground up. And I'm sure that when you're working on a hotel, you might be working with an architect. And so like, how do you guys approach that collaboration?
Well, it's a team effort. It's really easy to point fingers at other people if something goes wrong. And we don't want to do that. We don't want other people to do that to us. If there's a problem, we try to work together as a team before the client even knows what's going on and troubleshoot. What are our design opportunities? What are our options here? And let's all work together and put our heads together to figure it out. Instead of, well, they did this wrong and that's why we didn't do that. So it's a team effort. So, and it's also thinking positively and thinking like solution oriented, like instead of just putting your hands up in the air, oh no, we can't do that. Can't do that, which a lot of people will, but there's those people out there that's okay, we're going to get it done. Like we'll figure it out. And, cause there's always a way.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's one of our core values is we find a way, but it's that exact same thing is a lot of people just go, it's not in scope.
Yeah.
It's, hey, it's not our fault.
Right. It's like, well, let's get it right. Let's make our client happy. And if, a lot of times if people are spending money on a space, they just want to know what the opportunities are and what the possibilities are. And, I don't know. There's always a way to get it done.
Yeah. Well, Katie, as we wrap it up today, is there anything maybe that I didn't ask you or maybe something you want to, share with the audience?
I don't know. You asked me a lot.
Yeah. You answered a lot. You did well.
I think I'm good. I think I appreciate you so much and what you do. Wow. These chairs are pretty comfortable.
They are. This is a great podcast chairs.
Yes.
They're very comfortable.
You feel at home. You feel comfortable and relaxed.
A great studio. You built out a speakeasy too in here, so it's a really cool little element of the studio. And I've just been really honored and proud of just watching you grow over the last like year and a half that we've known each other. And, just with you, it's not easy to step in the shoes of somebody that's ran a business for as long as Kathy has.
Yeah.
And, you and picking the right business partners to be in business with and doing all of that. And then not only that, but I know you, through our time of kind of working together, you had to also move because you were down on 2nd Avenue, and Kathy sold your old office, so you all had to go find a new office, and you did it in light speed and got over in a super cool space.
Yep. Well, I think I learned from you that it is important to just think positive, best case scenario, manifest your dreams and make it a reality. And so you can't do that by just sitting around and not making decisions. So I think it's just, I feel like I'm very lucky. And I've been lucky to have you as a mentor, and everything, it's hard work and it can be stressful sometimes, but it's all worth it in the end. And we're set up, we're in Wedgwood, Houston now, and it's an incredible new space. So everything's working out.
Yeah.
Everything's looking up.
Well, I mean, I told you this at the very beginning, is that, I learn as much from my mentees as I do. Yeah, I feel like they learn from me. And I would say it's very obvious I learned a ton from you, and
Thanks.
It's been, it's been an honor, and I've been super proud to just watch you and your team, and you do have a great team, and you're building out some of the coolest space in Nashville, and can't wait to see kind of how you continue this journey on and make this a global, worldwide.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
So, but
we'll see.
Anyway, well, thank you
Mark.
So much for being on the show.
Thank you
Katie.
for having me. This has been so fun.
Yeah, Katie, thank you. And thank you all for joining us today on The Spark. If the episode sparked any ideas or around creativity, leadership, or designing spaces, and you have any questions for Katie or myself, please drop them in the comments section, and I'll be sure to get it over to Katie, or we'll answer them directly. Thanks again for showing up week in and week out. If you would, do us a big solid and subscribe, rate, and review this show so that we can get the message out to more creatives around Nashville. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on The Spark.
And that's a wrap on this episode of The Spark from Creative Assembly. Thanks for spending time with us and exploring the minds shaping Nashville's creative future. If you're walking away more inspired, connected, or energized, that's exactly the point. A big thank you to our sponsor, Snapshot, and the incredible team behind the scenes who make this show possible. Your support fuels every conversation and keeps collaboration alive. So if you haven't already, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. Thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, stay creative, stay curious, and keep that spark.